right. Well, you're all thinking, how could this presentation possibly be better than just going home now? And it probably won't be. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but it is, I think, a project that has a lot of utility. We're looking at, you're familiar with the project from several previous years of funding. And first stage of 3100 North, sorry, gotta grab this.
Down arrow, Mayor.
Thank you. First phase, we had the ability to get up into the new high school and provide some support in here. That's all been finished up. The second phase, I apologize for not wearing my Hyde Park City t-shirt again this year, and Mayor Flint did write a letter of support for this application. She's in France and apologize for not being able to be here with us tonight. But we've got this next segment coming in that gets us from 400 East up to 1200 East. There's some segments that are existing. To report back on what we've done there so far, Hyde Park ran that project because most, as the lead, because most of the right-of-way is there. But that covered, we've got all of our right-of-way acquisition done except for, I think, just a couple of pieces, 2 left to finish up there. And our design work's all done, so we'll be able to start pouring some asphalt there, hopefully early on in the spring. And that gets us up to 1200 East. Our previous project also funded some right-of-way acquisition between 12th and 1600 East. And now we're coming to you to request support to actually get some roadway put in there. There's a double chip seal over a dirt road there that's probably best characterized using one of my favorite phrases of Alan's, a series of potholes holding hands. And so to really call it a proper drivable surface, we need to be able to pour some of that width to get our multi-use pathway coming through there. When that's done, assuming we're fortunate enough to receive your support on funding, we'll have one of the longest east-west corridors in Cache Valley by getting up here almost to the Forest Service border, to where it becomes unbuildable, all the way down to 400 West, providing an incredibly important access to Main Street for the bench, as well as serving Green Community Bank. I'll turn it over to Lance, our city engineer, to take you through the technical specifications.
As the mayor pointed out, this is the 12th to 16th section. As you can see, we already have some existing developments there, and we have some undeveloped land. So part of the design was to put curb and gutter along those existing developments, and then the undeveloped areas, we're not putting curb and gutter here and letting development do that, keeping a smaller cross section in those areas. The purpose and need, this is kind of a Hyde Park North Logan project that is discussed. It's a regional significant road. It has North Logan and Hyde Park in their master plans, and a lot of this is that it collects, as the mayor said, is a very long east-west collector. There's a light already on Main Street, and it also connects significant portions of the west side to the industrial area too. The other thing is congestion. If you know, there's a lot of good north-south roads that are there at 8th and 12th and 16th, but they do not interconnect. So we have a little congestion. We actually had to install a four-way stop at 8th East and 25 because our intersection was failing at that intersection. So we have quite a bit of congestion there. And then we also have congestion that is down below at the elementary at 25th and 4th. A lot of that funnels down in that intersection. We feel this will also help when you get into the grid system and you put it in, it help alleviate those congestions on those east-west corridors. Second south also in Hyde Park, what we talked about is 25th. The other is safety. We've had most of our intersections, like I said, were at 25th and 8th and Felling, and we had accidents there, and this is hopefully going to help and change a little bit of that direction. As the mayor brought up, right now our concern is this is our second phase. If we finish our second phase, a lot of that traffic's going to go down that existing road, which is narrow and an existing gravel road, and so it's not very safe in that manner too. And then it also helps as far as the safety on 2nd South on 25th. Kind of talked a little bit about the cross section. This has travel lanes that were matching the same asphalt width as we went and acquired a right-of-way. The property owners had a couple of suggestions, and so we kind of narrowed up the park strips, but we still have a multi-use path that is on there that it'll be used for bikes and pedestrian. And then we have sidewalk. This is in the developed areas where we have a 9-foot asphalt multi-use path, 6-foot park strip, and then 4-foot sidewalk on the south side. And of course, the curb and gutter is a betterment by the city. Where we have undeveloped areas, we're just taking those curb and gutter out and putting in swells. That is a typo on that. It is a 9-foot. One of the things that I think is nice and critical, or nice about the design, is you can see these points are all points of connection along proposed long-term trails. You have the power trail, you have the 16th East, you have a trail or intersection of the canal there, and the other canals cross there with plan. Also, it brings you down to the high school, and then at 2nd East, we have already created a multi-use path along 2nd East all the way back down to 2200s, actually to 18th North. It goes all the way back. So there's already a mile of trail on 2nd East that this would make that connection to. Betterments by the city, we're going to have to replace our water main, and then we do have a few places as far as sewer go that we need to put in. And then, of course, one of the identified when the canals we're going through in the cities and making those agreements, this is an outlet for all the canals that we can divert water during storm events that can go down 31. So the cities are going to upsize those pipes so that we can take that. We've already done that from the high school up, so then we can take the overflow from the canals and head it west. And gutter, of course, and then this is our funding. We're asking for just roughly under $700,000. The project's about $1.2 million. There's about 800 eligible funds in COG. The city's putting in about $460,000 of betterments. Our contributions, there's 137 of cash, non-eligible, which are the betterments. And that total city contribution and the percentage of match is a little higher at 16.5. So, any questions? And I think that was it. Sorry. So, yeah.
The timeline of completing that entire east-west.
Right. So as the mayor said, we have two properties that are on corner clips. That one is in a bankruptcy, and one will they're already taking action as far as condemnation, but they're on the side. So we're going to actually go out to advertisement, and they can start utility work and everything else, and we'll just try to finish that out. Our anticipation for completion is probably before school starts next August, with all asphalt and everything else, with all the utility work. We have met with the canal companies. We have to do some work on we crossed 2 canals. We have to have that in and ready by March next year. And then we hope to start this part of it late fall, depending on our final acquisitions on this segment, or it might run into the next year, 2021. Any other questions?